And Andy Vaughn in the red corner coming out from Indio Dojo. He's got a very tough corner by the looks of it. Got a very tough sidekick along for the ride. And he's coming out here, another local guy on the undercard, bringing a lot of energy in. And it's, like you said, Sean, it can't be said enough how fun it is to have these guys here. I mean, the crowd is really, really fun.
That's right.
Take a look at the tail of the tape. This is a middleweight match. We've got Andy coming in, 37 years old, standing at 6 feet tall, 179.4 pounds, against Sean Kyle, 30 years old, coming in at 6 feet, 183.8 pounds. Both of these guys coming in unranked, looking to make a name for themselves here tonight. All right, here we go, Sean. Match number 2 of the night.
Yeah.
Another 9-minute bout. Oh, right in on a snatch single there, but a guard pull in response.
He went single to around the waist and then right into the guard pull. Looks Sean Kyle very long. Maybe this is where he prefers to be. This guard. Didn't see much footage of him, so yeah, close guard is where he looks like he wants to be.
Or a K guard entry, right?
Yeah.
Well, close guard to K guard, to your point, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting because Andy came in and shot that single. Looked like he went to the body, and it almost looked like Sean was going for a submission, right? When he pulled.
Yeah, he wanted to jump into that close guard.
But speaking of submissions, right? And now it's Andy falling back on a straight ankle lock here after being in the top position.
Yeah, he's got to push back into the hips, does Sean Kyle. He's got to untie. There, he's untied. Got to push back, untie those hands now. He can reach the hands, hand fight, free his knee, and then there's going to be some big problems if, well, no, he's...
Was retaining the knee line just a little, but beautiful defense there from Sean Kyle over and over.
Nice job by Vaughn to get to the top out of that leg exchange. Come right back up to the top.
Yeah, Andy did a great job throughout the transition of maintaining the position he wanted to be in. So even though he was losing things and trying to regain and trying to adjust, chaining things together, he did end up coming right back up on top.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned Sean Kyle's length, and you said maybe he wants to be on bottom, he probably wants to play guard. It's definitely looking that way, right?
Yeah. He served himself well to get two on one on that and get that foot to the hip. That'll let him almost play like a no-gi collar sleeve, which is completely viable. If you have that 2-on-1 and that right foot to the hip, you can really you can transition that guard to no-gi very well. Shout out to Barrett Yoshida, who used to play that excellently in early ADCC days. Basically a no-gi collar sleeve. And Sean Kyle is sort of on his side. There's the wrist tie. He needs that connection with his feet. That's what he's missing right now.
I think that has to do with some of Andy's speed.
Yeah.
Jumping around and flying those knee cuts in, and now back on the feet. Sean Kyle almost looked like he was going to go for a 2-on-1 or maybe looking at an underhook, but now Andy pulls to the bottom.
Yeah, he needs to just watch his weight. See, he's getting a little too far forward. That'll let Andy Vaughn take him all the way over there and put into leg entries. He's in a leg lock. He's just got to make sure he's not leg locked yet, but it's coming if he doesn't watch his weight. See, he's got his weight too far forward, and now there's a leg entry. Oh, he's taking his own straight foot lock.
Hard to finish in this position, right? Because you don't have quite the hip isolation that you might want.
Yeah, that's right. Now it's a heel hook attempt for, neither one have a really heavy isolation of the knee. Now,
we got a shootout going on here.
Yeah, definitely do.
Ooh.
Now it's pressure on the foot there that Sean Kyle's putting on, but he's got to turn kind of out of room with his hips right there.
Oh, might turn into a toe hold here. It looks like he's trying to crank on a toe hold, but doesn't have a lock around the leg, so it's going to be hard to isolate the hip, and oh my gosh, he's out.
Yeah.
What a show.
Yeah, that was a shootout for sure.
Now, I know we were distracted because we were trying to walk through some of that action, but there was a judge's opinion that was called through, and it was for Andy, so Red slightly in the lead here. In the eyes of the judges, of course, just in that first 3 minutes of the match. Still got 6 minutes to go, so anything can happen. Sean Kyle back up to his feet.
Yep.
Set up, let's flat. Go.
It's interesting to see Sean kind of switch between pulling and standing back up interchangeably. He's done so quite a couple times now. And at the same time, we haven't really seen either of these guys in any serious danger yet.
Right. Yeah, just a little leg shootout, but nobody really looking like they had.
Whoa, beautiful outside trip there. Right into the guard, the closed guard of Sean Kyle, though, which, as you mentioned before, these guys in their length, their closed guard can do some serious damage.
Yeah, see how Sean Kyle plays. If he's going to get feet to the hips, which would be a good, both feet to the hips would be a nice way to deal with this. When someone crowds you and tries to get your head and crowds and crowds and crowds you, if you get both feet to the hips, you can send them flying. And it sets up all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, it sets up like helicopter arm locks, Udagatamis, Tomonagis, all kinds of fun stuff there.
And he's trying to come right up to the feet, and he's trying to stand up out of that guard. I think it's important to remember, like, especially if you're a little earlier on in your journey, that standing up in the closed guard is important. The closed guard's not a place to hang out. Look how dangerous these guys are from that closed guard bottom position. It's not neutral, despite the fact that it might look even. It's not neutral. You don't want to be inside someone's closed guard. You want to stand up and open the guard. Once the guard's open, as you've seen for these guys, you can deploy your speed and get some outside positioning and then come back into a space where you feel like you have a better technical control. But when you're in the closed guard, you just don't have much control at all, do you?
No, that's right.
You see now, open the guard back up. So now Andy's in better shape, right? He doesn't have to feel like he needs to dive forward into the guard to crowd and put himself in danger that way. Doesn't stand up and expose his legs. He's actually is able to keep a nice distance, keep himself safe here. And you can see him too also focusing on controlling those legs, so he can use those legs to put Sean on his back, keep him in a supine guard. That way Sean can't sit up and start to attack like Sean's shin and start to mess with the head. But also, to your point, he can't make those feet connections that he was looking for earlier when Andy's controlling his feet that way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Andy's staying pretty far away until this. Then he's running around, right? So Sean Kyle hasn't really been able to solve that yet, where he's able to get wrist ties, but connection with the feet while he's on his back. So.
There's a second judge's favor towards red. So Andy now has 2 out of 2 out of the judge's favor. And as a reminder, it's not an official scoring system. It just lets you guys know where the judges are leaning. But anything could happen in the rest of the match to turn that around. And look at that big throw from Andy. That was kind of an awkward one, right? Because it wasn't an uchi, it wasn't really a harai. It was almost like a tayatoshi type throw. And then he ended up switching it off in the end.
Yeah, he went forward and then backward.
Scoring system, it just lets you guys know where the judges are leaning, but anything could happen in the rest of the match to turn that around. And look at that big throw from Andy. That was kind of an awkward one, right? Because it wasn't an uchi, it wasn't really a harai. It was almost like a tayatoshi type throw, and then he ended up switching it off in the end.
Yeah, he went forward and then backwards.
Oh, here's some excitement from the crowd, I think because of that Kimura lock that we saw for a second.
Yeah, but he lost it in that transition, and now he finds himself bottom cross side, but was able to recover there. Here's this, this is where Sean Kyle's been had a little problem. So he's got his knees to his shoulders are perfect. His grip is good. These are good things that he's doing, but then when he kicks the leg out, he's not connecting it. That's when Andy has been running around. You can't just kick the leg out. You can actually just put the feet on the biceps. You don't necessarily have to release that grip the way you would if they had a pant leg, and then he could go switch into a 2-on-1. But he's having a little hard time. He's kicking the leg out almost like he's breaking a pant leg grip, which is not always necessary, and that's been where Vaughn has run around so far.
2-on-1 there from Andy, but Andy runs into trouble with those 2-on-1s because it seems like he's not really emphasizing the head positioning, right? So he's not bringing his head into the ear and closing that space. And so then Sean's able to answer with like a stiff arm on the ear. And when your head and your arms are really disconnected, it's hard to get any attacks off. We've seen a couple throws from Sean throughout this match, so kind of looks like he's eyeing one, but as I say that, Andy comes in with a beautiful knee tap, nice and easy, but his right leg's got to be careful here.
Yeah, Sean Kyle should roll here. I mean, Andy, now he's starting to get in better position now. He had initially a very nice little entry. Now I see he's got a cut that head and arm. It's a little difficult, but there he goes. He can still pull over the top, but initially a really nice entry from Sean Kyle off that takedown, but it just sort of faded away.
Sean Kyle's trying to stay seated, and Andy lifting his feet up to knock him back to supine again. We've got short time in this match, right? 23 seconds left. I'm sure Andy feels that he's a little bit in the lead after those two judges' calls. And reset here in the guard again. 20 seconds to go. What could Sean Kyle possibly do here to turn this around, Sean?
Yeah, he needs like a Hail Mary leg lock or something like this, or a flying something or other. Short time is right. It's
something
just
flying.
Yeah.
Last couple seconds gonna wind down here. It did look like he was looking for a Kimura, like you said, looking for one of those last submission attempts. And what a finish from these two guys. Second round of the night. Halfway through our undercard here with these two local athletes. Put on a great show. Here's a look at some of the action we just saw. We did see quite a bit of close guard in the beginning, and that was that initial foot lock that he leaned back on. That was an exciting start to the match, Sean.
Yeah, jumping after it off the close guard. But Sean Kyle did a great job of getting in. There's that back trip up from that sort of underhook position, and then drives forward, resetting. Here he goes. Yeah, big, almost like he tried to step in front of Goshi, but. And then, yeah, it turned into almost like a Tayatoshi, and then went behind him.
Yeah, some really nice takedowns from Vaughn all night, huh? That was beautiful. And that moment right here.
Yeah, there was that nice entry into almost that ground to Kanebasami, but just couldn't get anything going off of it.
Yeah, a lot of close moments in that match. These two guys really gave it all for 9 minutes, and it looks like we're about ready here to find out our winner of the night's second match.
After 9 minutes of competition in the middleweight division, the judges have rendered their decision for the red corner, Andy Vaughn!
Andy Vaughn is our winner via decision, second round of the night. That was a great match. Lots of great energy in the crowd here tonight for both of these gentlemen coming out. Both of them made their hometown debut here on Who's Number One and had a really, really good showing. Love seeing these undercard matches, Sean, because it's such a fun opportunity to get to know some of the new talent that we don't always get to see in our bigger brackets. And we've got a lot more